The City of Neenah is pleased to provide video recordings of City Council meetings. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents from the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or completing the electronic feedback form on the city website. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the City of Neenah Common Council meeting for Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. The first item on the agenda is the roll call. The clerk will call the roll. Please indicate your presence. I see that you already have. The clerk will now call the roll.
Council President Borchard.
Here.
Alderman Bruno.
Yeah.
Erickson.
Here.
Linsky.
Here.
Ellis.
Here.
Steiner.
Here.
Paulnow.
Here.
Here.
And Weber.
Here.
Thank you. Alderman Erickson, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight. We have a very special presentation that our state representative, former Mayor Dean Coffert, will be presenting to Police Officer Joe Benoit as the 2025 First Responder of the Year Award. So at this time, I would like to welcome Representative Coffert to the podium.
Thank you, Mayor. Come on up, Joe. Well, thank you very much, Honorable Mayor Lang and council members. Feels good to be back in a place that I spent a few years and do this, because this is really cool. It's something that the legislature started after I left in 2014, and I was really impressed. I sent a picture to Clerk Nagel. This was a big deal. 99 different individuals were honored at the State Assembly. Unfortunately, Joe and I didn't hook up early enough. He had a prior commitment, and that's why I'm here today. And I think it's just vitally important that we take a little time out of our day to honor all the people that each and every day do things to make this community safer, take time to reflect and honor them and just say thanks, which is something we should be doing a lot more. You know, I had the pleasure of being working for Gold Cross Ambulance for 8 years, Mountain Ambulance and Rescue for 12 years. And so I know a little bit about, you know, the commitment and what it takes to do this job that Joel performs and the chief and everybody else each and every day to make our communities safer and a better place. So this legislature started this a few years ago. So all 99 state assemblymen, along with the senator from that district, we take applications for First Responder of the Year. So 99 individuals get the opportunity to come down to Madison, spend the day, and with their families and friends, and just, you know, enjoy the day and get told how important their job is to the health and well-being of this state. So it was really a moving experience, and because of that, I wanted to take this opportunity to come and personally say thank you to Joe and tell you a little bit about why we chose Joe as the 53rd State Assemblyman, the 53rd State Assembly First Responder of the Year. We also had, I'll just mention, we had 4 nominees in the district. Fox Crossing had someone, Winnebago County Sheriff's Department had a dispatcher who was nominated, along with one of our Neenah Menasha firefighters, Anthony Laytone. So I sent all three of them letters recently congratulating and thanking them for what they do for this state. So when I asked for nominations, Chief Aaron Olson and them, they sent in the nomination. And I just want to highlight a couple things that when they talked about Joe. And I've had the pleasure of working with Joe and being here in city government. So I've actually got to see, over the years what he's done when he started his career and everything. So I'm so impressed, and it wasn't just my decision. The senator had input and the staffs in Madison. So I just want to tell you that Joe was nominated by Chief Olson, and he's been here for over 19 years, been in law enforcement. He has worked for both the Neenah Police Department and the Amarillo Police Department. He started in the Neenah Police Department in 2002. 2000 they got a typo then. 2020. And right away, the supervisors knew that we had an individual who was dedicated and a person who would be willing to do anything for his fellow officers or for this community. And he's got a talent for engaging people in our community. And all you got to do is see him when he's out in the community and how people gravitate to him. And he's very respected in the community. So we, the legislature, along with Governor Evers and that Joe, would like to present you with the 2025 First Responder of the Year for the 53rd Assembly District, one of 99 individuals that receive this honor this year. This honor is given every 2 years, and it says, "Know you by these presents, whereas Officer Joseph Benoit has served the law enforcement community with honor and distinction for over 19 years, including his current role with the City of Neenah Police Department. And whereas Officer Benoit began his tenure with the Neenah Police Department on January 20th, 2020, quickly earning recognition for his dedication, his compassion, and his exceptional ability to engage with the community. And whereas Officer Benoit was appointed Community Policing Coordinator in 2023, a role in which he has built lasting relationships, restored hope, and positively impacted countless lives through his outreach, education, and mentorship. And whereas Officer Benoit has created and led numerous community initiatives, including the popular Campfire with a Cop, and has spearheaded large-scale events such as Neenah's Night Out, which has brought joy and connection to families across this community while being the lead of the department's peer support team, offering empathy, guidance, and emotional support to his colleagues in times of need. Now, therefore, Representative Dean R. Coffert, Senator Kristen Dassler-Elflein, on behalf of the entire Wisconsin State Legislature, do hereby honor Officer Joseph Benoit as the First Responder of the Year for the 53rd Assembly District in honor of his selfless dedication, his leadership, and outstanding service to this community. Congratulations, Joe. I'm going to let Chief say a word or two, and then if Joe wants to say something. Senator Elflein could not be with us tonight, so I think she tried to reach out to her. She's going to offer her congratulations also, but she could not be here tonight. Chief?
All right, thank you, sir. When State Rep Coffert sent this nomination form to us, the command staff talked, and Assistant Chief Bernice actually wrote the award nomination. So thank you, Jeff, for writing that. And I talked about this at the police commission this morning. If anyone's ever read the book Good to Great by Jim Collins, the premise is having the right people on the bus, right? So we take that a step further and say we want to have the right person in every seat on the bus. And Joe's an example of that. He's the right person in the right seat at the police department for his position. He does so much more than what his probably job description entails. We give him a mountain of tasks to do, and he gets them done quickly, professionally, and expertly. And we get more surveys back from the community about Joe than any person in our department. And they're always not just like, Joe did great today. They're long sentences and paragraphs of how great Joe is. So Joe is extremely deserving of this award. We appreciate him probably more than he realizes. And the second point I want to make is rank doesn't make you a leader, right? Wearing a uniform doesn't make you a leader. Joe's a leader without rank, and that's something special that not a lot of people are able to do. So, rank at the police department, we always say rank doesn't define you. It's just what your job is. But Joe is a leader in all aspects of his life and at the police department, and we appreciate him greatly. I know Jeff is his direct supervisor, and Jeff greatly appreciates Joe because Joe makes Jeff look good every day, right? I mean that very respectfully, and Joe makes us all look good at the police department and makes everyone sitting in front of me look good because he represents our city so well in so many different aspects in his role. So he deserves this award. We're super happy and super proud and thankful that Joe came to Neenah PD 5 years ago. So thank you.
I always have to lower the mic. I just never was gifted in height. Well, I wasn't prepared for a speech, but I do want to say thank you very much. Thank you, Assemblyman Coffert and Chief Olson, Assistant Chief Bernice. Mostly thanks to Angie for all the support at home. Thanks a lot, Mom and Dad, for everything. So I've got my parents here, my wife Angie, and some of the kids. Some of the others couldn't make it. But no, I really appreciate all the support. So, every day you get up and you have a plan for what's going to happen for that day. And it's a repetitive cycle in this position where I have certain things on my to-do list and other things jump in there. And, there's the night before, it always seems like, oh, there's so much time tomorrow. I'll be able to get all this done. And then the next day just flies right by. And then we repeat that. And now tomorrow I have all kinds of time because the winds are way too high. And unfortunately, we had to cancel our campfire event that was going to be tomorrow night. So that frees up some time. But what I'm getting at with this, with the time is such a precious thing. And this award is a reminder that, you have to use the time wisely because so easily 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes can slip away. And if you're not using the time wisely, there's no way to connect with people and to be impactful at what we do as city employees. And so this is a good reminder to keep moving forward and to keep trying my best every day to use that time wisely and be a good steward of the time God's given me. And the same at home too, not just at work. But I appreciate all of you very much for your support. I'm very blessed to work in a city that has such a high level of support, not just from local government, although that's truly helpful, but from the community as well. And if there's anything I can do for you all, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you so much.
picture. Duck down. Now you made me self-conscious.
Now it's even weirder. It's even weirder. Yeah. I will see. I just want to be photobombing.
Kelly, don't be weird.
Just be the head floating in the background. Yeah.
So thank you all very, very much. Mayor, thank you. And we really appreciate Joe's service, and thank you to the family. We're very proud of them, and this is, it's exciting to be able to do this. So thank you, council. Good luck the next couple of weeks. And I don't miss that part. Thank you very much.
I would just like to add, Officer Benoit, I'm personally so proud and honored to know you. So thank you for all you do for the city of Neenah. It does not go unnoticed. There are no appointments this evening, so moving on to item number 4. Is there any objection to unanimous consent of approval of the council minutes and proceedings of October 15th, 2025 regular session? Any objection to unanimous consent? Seeing none, those minutes and proceedings are approved. We'll just give a minute for the family to be able to exit the council chambers before we move on to the next item. And that is the public forum. The public forum is the opportunity for anyone from the public to speak to the council on any topic they feel is of interest to the council. If you would like to speak during the public forum, please come forward, give your name and residential address. Is there anyone here who would like to speak during the public forum? Anyone who would like to speak? Seeing no one, I will close the public forum and move on to the consent agenda. Item 7. There are 2 items on the consent agenda. Item A, approve the special event permit for Neenah's Very Merry Christmas Market, sponsored by Future Neenah, event to be held on Friday, December 5th, 2025, from 5 to 8 p.m., Saturday, December 6th, from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday, December 7th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the second item is a temporary Class B license to sell wine to Future Neenah Incorporated for our Very Neenah Christmas Market. Again, same dates and times, December 5th, 5 to 8, December 6th, 10 to 8, and December 7th from 10 to 3. Is there any objection to unanimous consent of the consent agenda items? Alderman Lundrum.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to pull out item A for discussion.
There's a motion to pull out item A for discussion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. We do a voice vote? We'll do a voice vote on that. All those in favor of pulling out that item for discussion, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? That item is pulled out for discussion. Alderman Lundrum?
Yep. Can we talk about it now? Or do we want to vote for the item B?
We can approve the item B alone.
Okay, go ahead.
Then, is there any objection to item B? Seeing none, item B is approved for unanimous consent, and we will move back for discussion on item A. Alderman Lundrum.
Thank you, Mayor. Item A puts me in a really uncomfortable position. I need to vote against this, and only because it is including the T-DORA, which starts at 10 a.m. And the event itself is perfection. It's going to be a huge collaboration between many different entities. It's going to be fabulous. I have a problem, like I had before, with the T-DORA starting alcohol consumption at 10 a.m. This is a family event, and I think this sends the wrong message. So unfortunately, even though I highly approve of the event itself, I do not approve of the 10 a.m. start time. I had trouble enough with the noon start time with the original T-DORA. So I'll be voting against this. Thank you.
I would like to have a motion on the floor for the approval of the special event permit, since we're not including it. So is there a motion to approve that special event permit? Motion by Alderman Ellis, seconded by Alderman Weber. Then I will call on Alderman Paulno.
Thank you, Mayor. I was just going to state that it's my recollection that when you pull something off the consent agenda, ironically, it would go to the Public Service and Safety Report to be read out as a normal item.
Or we can cover it here as well.
Yeah.
Is there any further discussion on this item under the consent agenda? Seeing none, please cast your vote on that item for approval of the special event permit for Neenah's Very Merry Christmas Market.
I don't have anything on my screen.
Now it's working, it's not working.
Your colors are different. What about Alderman Bruno? Did yours?
And we will vote again for the
Alderman Bruno, did yours work?
Okay.
That motion passes 8-1. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, the regular Public Services and Safety Committee meeting of October 28th. Chairman Lundrum.
Thank you, Mayor. As you said, I'll be reporting out from the regular Public Services and Safety Committee meeting of October 28th, 2025, and the minutes can be found on the city website. We have two action items. Item number 1, committee recommends council approve contract amendment number 2 with Grafe Engineering in the amount of $56,183 for professional services for Arrowhead Park engineering tasks and guidance, funding to be provided by Arrowhead Park carry forward funds in the 2025 capital improvement budget, and I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Lundrum, seconded by Alderman Weber. Discussion on this item. Alderman Paulno.
Thank you, Mayor. I voted against this in committee. I have concerns. I've been asking. We'd hired related to this an environmental attorney that we've spent $77,000 on. We hired him. It was brought on board January 24, and I've asked multiple times for information about that, and we have not received that. This project is north of $3 million total from 2010. As an elected official, even in business, if I had a lawyer that was under our hire or under my hire, I would want to know all the information before I'd make a decision to expend more money. We spent 200 grand already with Grafe, and this will be another 56,000. I feel like I'm flying partially blind here because we don't have the long-term implications legally that have been presented to us at council, like historically had always been presented to us. So that's, maybe I'm just alone in that, but the information when it comes to tax dollars, I think is important for aldermen. So that's why I'll be voting against this. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 8-1.
Item number 2, and the last action item, committee recommends council approve authorizing staff to raise the city-owned former bus shelter at the northeast corner of Church Street and Doty Avenue. That's the one, that little brick building right behind Greens, and I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Lundrum, seconded by Alderman Ellis. Is there any discussion on this item? Alderman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a quick question. I didn't have a chance to go and look at the shelter this week, but at one point, Neenah High School did some artwork for the shelter, and I was just wondering if that has been removed and can be taken to a different location, or if it's not there anymore. So could we take that out before it's raised and maybe repurpose
Sure.
it?
Yeah, the artwork's still there, and we can certainly take that out before we take care of the building.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 9-0.
And that's the end of my report.
Thank you for your report. The next item on the agenda is the regular Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of October 27th. Chairman Steiner.
Thank you, Mayor. Minutes can be found on the city website. The committee recommends council approve resolution 2025-14, the 2025 fee schedule as presented, and I so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Steiner, seconded by Alderman Ellis. Is there discussion on this item? Alderman Polno.
Thank you, Mayor. I had raised this item before in regard to this fee schedule. Currently, right now, we have verbiage on this fee schedule in regard to the wrestling ordinance that had been repealed, and that ordinance has not been repealed. I think maybe it seems like a small item, but with today's lack of trust in government, putting out public-facing documents that don't have correct information about ordinance that has not been repealed, because it might be expedient to not have to bring this back, I think is it's a bad first step. I don't agree with that. And that's why, for that reason, because it's incorrect information, I'll be voting against this fee approval.
Alderman Steiner.
I recall that discussion. I thought it was going to be amended somehow to say, to be repealed or something like that. Wasn't there going to be a change or an update to the language? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was there language in it too?
That was the intention, that it should be changed to be repealed, and then I think that the matter would be adequately covered. So that certainly can be done.
Is there any further discussion on this item? Paul, no.
Then I would so move to make that verbiage change to specify to be repealed.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? We'll just wait for the clerk to enter that in. Okay, the motion on the floor and the second is to add to that language. Are we ready for the vote? Yep. Okay. Please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 9-0. Now back to the original motion, which is to approve Resolution 2025-14, the 2025 fee schedule as presented. As amended, sorry. Alderman Paulno, did you want to speak
No,
again?
Mayor.
Okay.
Could I speak for a sec? At our Finance Committee meeting, we did have Water Utility bring up that the plumbing, the well license needed to go up to $50 from $30, so we do have that on the schedule in red, but just want to let you know we did note that.
Are we ready for voting? Okay. Please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 9-0.
Item number 2, committee recommends council authorize the movement of the utility billing system and the utility billing coordinator position from the finance department to the water department, and I so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Steiner,
Second.
seconded by Alderman Paulno. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 9-0.
Item number 3, committee recommends council approve resolution 2025-13 designating official director of finance authorized to declare official intent under reimbursement bond regulations, and I so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Steiner,
Second.
seconded by Alderman Paulno. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 9-0.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you for your report. The next item on the agenda is the Neenah Menasha Fire Rescue Joint Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of October 29th. Council President Borchert.
Thank you, Mayor. Minutes can be found on the city website. Committee recommends council purchase the council recommends council the purchase and enter into contract for one 2025 Can-Am EMS UTV and related equipment for a cost not to exceed $60,000 and utilize the FAP carryover funds from the 2024-25 to pay for the project, and I so move.
There's a motion by Council President Borchert,
Second.
seconded by Alderman Paulno. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 9-0.
Item number 2, committee recommends council approve the proposed Neenah Menasha Fire and Rescue 2026 budget, and I so move.
There's a motion by Council President Borchert.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Paulno. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. Alderman Paulno? That motion passes 9-0.
That's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. The next item on the agenda is reports of special committees and liaisons. The first is the Committee on Rules meeting of October 13th. Chairman Lundrum.
Thank you, Mayor. And we only have one item tonight on the Committee of Rules for October 13th, 2025, and minutes can be found on the city website. Committee recommends council approve the updated standing rules of the city of Neenah Neenah Common Council, and I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Lundrum, seconded by Alderman Weber. Discussion on this item. Alderman Paulno.
Thank you, Mayor. There's been some tremendous work done here. I just want to give everybody on the committee accolades because it was a long time and a long, challenging struggle. Well, like any meetings that we have, it can be struggled because there's a lot of material to go through. My concern is I have done my review as well, and there's a lot of items, I think that are legally questionable and some that are process driven that are incorrect as I see it. And I don't know if the intent was to go through that, because a lot of times something like this, I know at a county board or that they have a set time for this, or if this is something that could be, if I can go through it step by step, or would it be the purview of this council to maybe listen to me on some of the items and potentially go back to committee? Because I think it's important that we keep doing the work and getting it right. So I would be open to suggestions, because there's about 6 or 8 items that I think some are procedural, some are more in depth, and I guess before I speak, I'll let others speak to that, because if not, I will go through these and then we can have that lengthy discussion here.
I would recommend that you move to return it to committee if that is your desire.
Okay, I was waiting for some other inputs from the
Well,
council.
I'm just expressing
Okay.
my opinion, and
Okay.
I'll call on others as well. Alderman Lundrum?
Thank you, Mayor. I believe that after this long period of time that we as a committee have come up with a very clear, clean, concise document, very easy to understand. It has been run through several times through the legal department, but I am loath to go against Robert's rules, so I will agree to sending it back to committee.
Is that a motion that you're making?
Sure. Sorry.
Are you seconding?
Yes.
Alderman Ellis? There's a motion and a second for this recommendation to go back to the Committee on Rules. Any further discussion on that? Alderman Paulno?
Thank you, Mayor. I can work with Chairman Lendrum. I have a written, detailed item list that I can give to her and discuss with her. Thank you.
Alderman Ellis?
Thank you, Mayor. I too want to thank you, Carrie, and the entire team that worked on this. It was a long process. It was a process that apparently needed to get dusted off quite a while ago. It's not 100%. I did speak with Alderman Paulno earlier today. He shared with me some of his points and his concerns, and I respect that. And I would recommend that for us to go forward, that we have an ongoing review of these issues. There's not a right, there's not a wrong. There's a couple of ways, as I shared with Bill today when we talked about this, that we could approve it as is right now and still take the comments that Councilman Paulno has back to committee to look at them, or we can take it back to committee as being recommended and do it that way. However, going forward, I will tell you, as someone who has sat on and off this group since the early 1980s, that we've got a great body in 9 here, and a great leader in our mayor and great department heads. And I think that we're starting to say, you know what, because it was done this way in the past, or somebody forgot it in the past, it just kind of slept. And now we're getting to the point where we're saying, you know what, maybe we need to rethink these, maybe we need to rethink that. We may not all agree on the issues. That's not the point. The point is that we take a look at it and we have articulated conversation. And for that, I again commend the committee, and I look forward to having this discussion back in rules. Thank you, Mayor.
Alderman Lundrum?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to mention one last thing. As soon as it is approved through council, we will be doing this once a year.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea. I heard Alderman Erickson say, and I agree. So the motion and the second on the floor are to move this back to committee. Please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 9-0. Thank you for your report. The next item on the agenda is the regular Plan Commission meeting of October 28th. Alderman Steiner, is there anything to report?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a real quick update, really more at the state level, just to keep everyone in the loop. There continues to be some very favorable legislation that is moving through the process. Just a few items that, from the standpoint of increasing the supply of housing across the state, obviously the state would have a much larger impact than individual municipalities can have. But some of the things they're looking at are an extra year on the affordable housing TID extension. If you recall, for TID 5 and 6, we extended that 1 year, which those are monies that can be utilized for various programs for affordable housing that's being executed right now in the city of Neenah. So now it would, if it were to pass, we'd have 2 years that we could extend that. So it's even additional funding there. Greater access to the housing loan programs established last session. So that's even increasing the access to those. The removal of the prohibition in stacking the loan programs with TIF funding and historic tax credits. So again, these are all programs that will be more conducive to creating affordable housing across the state. And the ability to create workforce housing TIDs outside of the 12% of equalized value TIF thresholds, which that's a big one. As we know, TIF can be a very powerful tool that we've utilized in Neenah to a lot of success. And this would extend that specific to workforce housing, which is of great need not only to Neenah, but across the Fox cities and the rest of the state. So feel free to reach out to your representatives and encourage them to continue this moving forward. At this point, it does appear to have bipartisan support, which is great. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. The next item on the agenda is the Board of Public Works meeting of October 23rd. I don't believe there are any action items to report. Is there anything else to report, Alderman Lundrum?
No, I just want to remind everyone that informational items can be found on the website.
Thank you. The next item is a report from the Community Development Authority meeting of November 3rd. Director Nyforth.
Thank you. We had a great meeting with our CDA members. We didn't have any action items, but I wanted to keep them up to date on some of our projects going on that they have been involved with. So we brought them up to speed on some recent land acquisitions that we had, the 2 requests for proposals that were sent out, an update on Arrowhead Park, what staff is working on, and then we talked about our 2026 goals, which will continue at a future meeting. And as you all know, last week I did send out the Executive Director's Report. That's something I'm going to be starting with our CDA meeting. So it doesn't have to be its own agenda item, but just to keep people in the loop with what's going on, I'll continue to send it out to CDA members and then send you a copy of it at the same time. So you're up to date with some of our projects going on from a CDA standpoint. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. Oh, I'm sorry. Alderman Paulno.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to send out or give kudos to Director Nyforth. That report is just a breath of fresh air. It's very much appreciated by myself personally to kind of, so we get some more information in real time is always just nice instead of reading about it in the news all the time. So thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the report from the Sustainable Neenah Committee meeting of October 22nd. Alderman Linsky.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing to report from the Sustainable Neenah Committee.
Thank you. The next item is the report from the Bergstrom Mahler Museum meeting of October 22nd. Alderman Bruno.
Thank you, Mayor. So the Bergstrom Mahler Museum of Glass had its annual meeting on Wednesday, October 22, with some good news. So this year, 32,748 visitors, an increase of 5% over last year. They welcome 200 attendees for the Baccarat night, and they raised a little bit above $100,000 for their programs. Finally, they had more than 13 13,000 kids, teens, and families through specialty programs, their classes, and their camps. I already gave you the list of the current exhibits. So just two things for now. The annual fund drive is running with a $40,000 matching gift from 4 generous museum supporters. So thanks for your support. If we are reaching this number, we will have double dollars for the museum. Last things I brought to you, I don't know if you are aware that the museum is doing a nice ornament every year, a different one. So I got mine. I encourage you to get yours. It's a cute one. You won't find it next year. It's just this year. And that concludes my report.
Thank you for your report. The next item on the agenda is the report from the Park Commission meeting of October 23rd. Alderman Weber.
Thank you, Mayor. The minutes can be found on the city website. No specific items from the meeting. Information items are in the minutes. Just two related items I'd like to bring up. We will be having another Carpenter Preserve volunteer work event on Saturday, November 15th from 8 till noon. So if you're interested, let myself know or Frank. Definitely looking for some strong backs to help us with some of the work that we're going to do. And then the other point I just want to bring up, if you haven't had a chance to go in and personally see the statue and the plaque at Doty Cabin from the Roosevelt ceremony, I really, it's really awesome. So take the time to go look at it. So that concludes my report.
Thank you for your report. Are there any petitions? No petitions. Are there any council directives? Is there any unfinished business? Is there any new business? Alderman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a question for Director Kaiser. About a week ago, I went to check out the Harrison Street Pond, and it looks like there's been a great deal of progress. But I noticed that when I was there that the fountain wasn't working, and I was wondering if you could give us an update on the fountain.
Sure. Yeah, they finished up the seeding for the prairie planting. So all of that work around the rim of the pond is done. The manhole that contains the pumps for the fountain, we've been working with a contractor to come up with a good solution for some sediment that has collected in that manhole that is preventing the pumps from operating. And so we need to get that solved before we will have those pumps operating again. Otherwise, we could damage
So
them.
is the intent that it would be operating year-round, or is that something that just operates seasonally?
Our intent originally is to have it operate year-round because
So-
the water coming in will be warm enough that it can operate.
So do you have a timeline for that?
I don't at this point. I'd have to check with the engineer. He's been in touch with a couple of contractors to, as I mentioned, come to a solution on removing the sediment from that manhole.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Alderman Steiner.
Yeah, there was just, I know there was an email several of us were on in regards to a four-way stop sign for Toller and Gay. I just wanted to see, I know it sounds like Engineer Mertens had corresponded a bit with this individual maybe a year ago. Any thoughts on that? Is that something that makes sense, or is something that
Four-way
we're looking to do?
stop does not make sense there.
Okay.
When we look at a four-way stop, we're looking at balanced traffic on conflicting approaches.
Mhm.
So Gay Drive and Tuller Road roughly being having equal traffic approaching, at least on two of the conflicting approaches, and we don't have that there. The writer had mentioned that we have those four-way stops set up for the soccer tournaments, and the traffic situation at those soccer tournaments is completely different from what we have off of those soccer weekends. So, no, the four-way stop I don't believe is a good solution at all there. The thing, and I spoke to James about it earlier today, actually, just to get his recollection on what was done out there, and the approach, and I think I mentioned this at committee last week, that there was kind of an incremental approach that we were taking steps with the crosswalk markings, the signing, the pavement markings, each trying to improve things to get us to the point where that becomes a more comfortable crossing. The thing to do at this point, given that the pavement markings have been down, is to kind of observe what we have going on out there. I think the next step would probably be more of a beacon system at that crossing. That would be more suitable for what we have going on.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional new business? Alderman Erickson?
Thank you, Mayor. At the last city council meeting, President Borchard had asked me about the library's fine program, and so I would just like to report back. I did check with Director Hardina Wilhelm, and this is what she responded with. She said, "We've gained loyal patrons, increased positive experiences of our patrons, and saved staff numerous hours spent dealing with inquiries about fines, most of which were under $1. Today, 20 of the 29 Winnifox libraries do not charge fines. All Winnebago County libraries are fine-free, along with some of our surrounding community libraries. Appleton, Hortonville, Kimberly, Neenah was the last one to go fine-free in 2022. In 2021, we were seeing a decrease in patronage because patrons would place our items on hold and pick them up at Menasha or Oshkosh, as they would not be charged fines. If we had not switched to being fine-free, we would have lost funding from Winnebago County and surrounding counties, including over $130,000 we received from Outagaming County. However, we do still charge for books that patrons have not returned for 30 days. Also, we no longer accept in-kind donations, nor do we issue refunds to patrons who pay for a book and later find it. So if there are any further questions on that, please let me know. But it is important to note, if somebody loses a book, they are still responsible to pay for it. And if they do find it later, that fine is not erased. But so far, that program has worked quite well for us, and it will continue to do so. So thank you.
Alderman Paulno?
Thank you, Mayor. Just giving the council heads up, at the committee, we had discussed the Teller Road drop-off punch cards, and it's still a work in progress, but moving forward, it's going to be a pick up your card, and then Director Kreiser's working on a printing it off from a website situation. So I'm sure he's still working that out, but so for 2026, when this, it'll be here before we know it, just so the council's aware, if people don't get their cards and they call you in a panic, which sometimes can happen, that's what's going on. Just want to let people know that.
Any additional new business? I have one item. Clerk Nagel printed and distributed the public engagement report to everyone from IPA for the 2026 to 29 strategic plan. We had originally thought that we would be bringing this to council for approval at this point, but because it is budget season, it makes a little bit more sense. This is our first ever strategic plan. We're not rushing through this process. Next week, Thursday, I have instructed the department heads to come to our department head monthly meeting with their suggestions and ideas for how they will be bringing action items to include in our strategic plan. We want the strategic plan to have measurable actions and opportunities for all of us to be considering. So as we move forward into that next step and the finalization of that draft plan, that is our next step. We'd like to have some of those action items included for council. Council, of course, can then, once you receive the draft of the plan, discuss it, suggest your own action items for it as well, obviously, and then we'll move on to, formal discussion of it and approval of it. But again, it's our first strategic plan, so let's take our time with it, be very deliberate with it, and make sure that it's a plan that has action items attached to it. Alderman Paulno?
Just one question I hadn't thought to ask. What are the guardrails to make sure we don't conflict with our comprehensive plan? I mean, how do we navigate those waters? Do they do that for us, or do we just work with them? Or
They did that a little bit. They reviewed quite a few of our plans, but it's also staff's job, which we're doing right now, and looking at all of our plans. We have quite a few plans, especially in our department, to make sure that they align nicely with it. So we want it to be complementary to what we have already.
Okay. Yeah, I don't envy you that task.
Any additional new business? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
There's a motion by Alderman Paulno, seconded by Council President Borchert. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.
The City of Neenah is pleased to provide video recordings of City Council meetings. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents from the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or completing the electronic feedback form on the city website. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited.